Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, we've got Alabama at Florida. Bryce Young against two quarterbacks. I guess we'll see how much we see of each of them. But let's start with our first question here before we get to our picks. How can Florida win this game?
Well, I'm gonna focus on the defensive side. Todd Grantham's Florida defense has to generate some stops. They, in my opinion, they can't afford to get in a track meet. If the Gators defense really has improved from last year, they need to step it up here. I understand no one's going to shut Bama down, but maybe forcing a turnover in plus territory, get a short field that can kind of turn the tide, no pun intended. But this is the first true road game for Bryce Young. So if the swamp crowd can rattle him and get a little pressure, with guy on that D line, you got guys like Zachary Carter. He's been a force so far. Jeremiah Moon at linebacker, he can make an impact. So I'm looking at the defense in order for a Gators win.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking similar area here, but you kind of mentioned it, but they need to be plus in the turnover margin. I think they need to be at least +2. So getting stops, I mean, it's going to be hard pressed to stop Alabama, right? But maybe if you could get a fortunate turnover or two, to me that's really the only way that you can kind of keep up. But also on offense, when they have the ball, they got to break a couple of long plays. I think it's going to be hard for them to sustain long drives against a really good Alabama defense. So they got to be able to break one or two really long runs or passes, whatever it may be, because I just don't see them consistently being able to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think another thing is a healthy Anthony Richardson, I think, could go a long way in this game, and he could provide some of those big plays at quarterback because, of course, he had maybe the hamstring tweak last week, so we'll see if he's 100%. But in he's had 34 snaps at quarterback for the offense. In those plays, they're averaging 15 yards per play, which is just
absurd.
Insane. He's been awesome, so would love to see more of him. But another thing is just they obviously need to run the ball effectively. What a lot of underdogs like to do and what can improve your odds of winning is just shorten the game, right? Yep. Run the ball, limit the possessions. That gives underdogs a better chance of winning. So I think they need to do that with the way that Emory Jones in particular has been throwing the ball. That's a little bit of a concern. Yeah. It might need to be the run game that does it for him. But moving on to our picks. So the point spread in this game is 14.5. Of course, Alabama favored. Ryan, who do you like?
Well, now, after seeing a couple of games, I like Bama. I did think this might be a potential slip-up game for Bama before the year started, but just not the way Florida has looked. Florida has just looked a little too inconsistent on offense for me. I thought Emory Jones would be better. We kind of were touting it a little bit before the year, like, kind of somebody that we liked for maybe a long shot Heisman potential, just based off of Dan Mullen's history with quarterbacks and what he's been able to do. And of course, Florida's had a really good offense last year, even though we knew they lost a lot. But so I don't trust Florida right now. I know their defense is getting better, but the offense just took way too big of a regression, and Bama hasn't really changed. So their offense is still incredibly good, even though they lost a lot of pieces. So, I'm taking Bama.
I would lay the points too. I just don't know if Florida has an effective passer, just from what we've seen in the first two games, and that'll just make it tough to keep this game competitive. I'm sure Dan Mullen's going to be able to create some offense. He's, of course, one of the best offensive minds in college football, but Alabama's got a great defense, and even though they are potentially without their top two pass rushers, of course, Christopher Allen is out for the year, and last week Will Anderson went down with an injury. He's day-to-day right now, so him being out, might go a long way.
That would make a difference for sure.
That would make a difference for Florida being able to protect their quarterbacks to make some of those big plays. But even considering that, you look at the other side of the ball, Florida's defense, I think they may be improved. Maybe Todd Grantham has that unit better, but we haven't really tested that. So it's going to be tested here, and I don't know. I'm not as optimistic, I think, going into the year as maybe you were in particular, Ryan, to call you out. Not that we don't know yet. There's no answer here, but I'm still worried about that defense. Whoever, Kyer Elam, I'm sure will do a great job taking care of his guy, but the rest of the defensive backfield, we'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm going to go chalk as well, taking Bama. I know the atmosphere at the Swamp, it's going to be great. They'll be rocking. But after seeing what Bama did to Miami a couple weeks ago, I just can't help but take the Tide. You guys kind of touched on the offense. We just haven't really fallen in love with the Gators offense. Not saying they can't bust out, but it's a tough one to bust out of right here. And for Alabama, like going into the year, we were kind of trying to figure out who was going to step up besides Mechie on the outside. We knew someone would, but it looks like Ohio State transfer Jamison Williams has really elevated. He has been electric when he's touched the ball. So, like you said, it's going to be a very big gauge to see if Grantham's defense has improved. But I just think overall, too many consistent weapons for the Gator defense to slow down.
I hope we're wrong because I want to see a close game here.
And I would love it.
You know what? We've been wrong before. Believe it or not, it has happened.
Wow.
So I'm sure the commenters, if we are wrong, will be there to remind us. But that'll do it for this episode of the College Football Bros. Comment down below your prediction for the game. And we'll tell you you're an idiot after you're wrong. Just kidding, we won't. But really appreciate you watching the show. Subscribe if you like college football because we've got content all year round. And we'll see you next time.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.